guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Heather Salter-Purves. I'm a queer fantasy author, and today is book part 2 in my critique partner series that I am doing for the next week or so as part of the critique partner matchup collaboration being held here on YouTube. Meredith E. Phillips and a great range of other creators here. I will link the announcement video, playlist and such down below, and I also did a video last week, if you've not caught it yet, about how to prepare yourself for going in to being a critique partner. A critique partner generally is a writer in your own genre. So these are questions that are useful to pose to your critique partner, as well as if you would have done some self-edits, so if you have burning questions specifically, you can pose them in a sort of way. I've structured these in sort of general reading questions, plot questions, character questions, and sort of technical questions, depending on what you're looking for in your critique partner. If you are really good at characters, so you just want support with your plot, that's what you ask them to focus on with these questions, and just getting an overall extra read on them. You can also use these for beta reader questions, not a problem, but let's dive on in. So I generally will say novel or story. They're interchangeable because it could be a short story that you're asking someone to critique, just to keep that in mind. So let's dive on in and check out the reading and general questions. So to get a general feedback from your critique partner about whether or not the opening of your novel did the beginning of the book grab you, keep your attention, and was the end of the book satisfy? And what was your reaction as you were reading it? So just to know generally people's emotions and opinions towards it are usually helpful, just so you know if it is flowing the way you want and the beats in your novel are hitting the way you want them to. Did you understand the themes, and did they become more complex and interesting for you as the novel and character arcs progressed through the novel? Was there any point which lost your interest? So it's really important when you are looking at it, is just being maybe able to pinpoint where something is going awry, so you may notice it, or it may also be a different part of the book. Was the setting clear, and did you feel that you had a clear idea of where everything was, or at least where your characters were in the structure of the story, so they're not just sitting in a white room and you have no idea what's happening around them? Did any of the scenes come across as boring or repetitive or confusing? And was the overall tone welcoming, or did you find it off-putting? It might be that if you are writing a horror, you do want your readers to feel slightly put off in a uneasy manner, so that is something to consider as well, is what your expectations are and the tone you're going for. If you are quite good and happy with your character arcs and it's just the plot you want some support with, the above questions might be enough for you. But these are more specific plot questions to ask. Did the plot keep you engaged, and did it overall make sense? Each scene and part add something to the story. Did you find parts that were unnecessary to the plot of the novel? So, some parts just, you've written them, you enjoy them, but they don't further the plot of the story. But if that's what you're looking for, is there an appropriate balance between the action of the novel and any subplots that you weave through your novel? And do you spot any confusing parts of the novel? And it may just be a timeline issue where they're doing something and then the next scene, chapter, part, they're doing something that would make more sense earlier. That's something that would be useful and to be pointed out. Next is characters. So you can be a character writer, so you really get into the nitty-gritty. You can tell someone all about your characters, or it might be where you are really confident in the story beats that are hitting, but you don't feel like your characters are compelling enough. This might be a part that you want to hone in on. So did each of the character voices sound unique? So they didn't all just sound the same, that they did have their own personalities. This is particularly important when it is a multi-point of view book. So you're in the head of each of your characters so that a reader can have like a distinct idea of, okay, I'm following Bob, and then the next chapter, okay, yeah, we're with Sally now, it makes perfect sense. There's a different view on the world. And did you feel an emotional connection to the main character? Whether or not it's the villain of the story, can still be a main character, so is there an emotional draw to them? And were the characters likable or unlikable? Why? And were they believable within their station in the story? And another thing to consider is, was the character's voice appropriate for the age and story genre and the time period of the story? If you've got like a 12-year-old, it's going to have a very different feel and approach to 30-year-old in a story, in a contemporary story. Maybe if you're writing a 12-year-old in a historical fiction, they may actually come across older just because of what they've endured within their life frame. So that is very important to also consider. I did miss a plot question, so I'll pop it back up. And here is, was the climax both inevitable and unexpected? So there are going to be, the climax of the story just before everything falls into place and it's resolved. Readers know what's going to happen. If it's a fantasy novel, you're going to have a big battle, a big reveal, the magical showdown, ball, whatever it is. A reader most likely is going to expect that it is going to happen, but it's how it happens can also be exciting and important. And also, was there another way around than the climax that's happening? It has to be the only way to the resolution of the story is through, to make it important. Back to characters, I'm really sorry. And was your brief understanding of the characters? Did you understand their goals or problems? And did they feel exuberous, or any characters feel that they were supposed to like but you didn't? And were characters hard to keep track of? As if you're writing a multi-POV or a questing novel, you need to be able to keep them together, or at least the readers at the end need to be able to follow through who's who and what's what. Some technical questions, so you're getting like into the nitty gritty and sort of something that can take readers out of the story on a sort of line basis is, did you spot any purple prose? So overly fluffy, bloated writing. But if that is your writing style, disregard it. Were you hooked from the beginning? If not, why not? So was it info dumpy? This can also be a character thing, a plot thing, but generally it's like a story structure thing. And did the dialogue flow and sound natural? And did you notice cliches or overused phrases or words or character actions? I know quite a lot in my books, my characters' brows knit together, my characters tilt their heads and they lower themselves or squat near the ground. It's very strange. I've noticed it while I've been editing, so it's just something to keep an eye on. Was there too many uses of adverbs or verbs? So the use of words that are either overused, underused, or they could be stronger. So you are getting away from passive voice. And at any point where you pulled out the story, so it can be badly worded, and you don't believe the character or a plot twist, so it can be questioning things, not knowing someone, or a character appearing randomly in a different part of the story where they were somewhere else and it doesn't make sense why they're there all of a sudden. Is anything unclear or confusing? And are there any major grammar problems or spelling issues? On that note, it's something I didn't remember to put in the last video, but it is very important to, while you are giving critiques from your critique partner and receiving them, is to understand what English they're using, as there is Australian English, UK English, American English, how you put a sentence together, and the spelling of certain words. Like colour in Australia has a U in it, but it doesn't in America. So just reiterate the grammar and punctuation English that you're using. It is really important so that you don't get tripped up on those things. All in all, these are the main sort of questions and prompts that you can ask your critique partner. I have listed them down below as well if you're interested in them. Please don't forget to like and subscribe because it really will help my channel. I will be putting out next week will be my experience with critique partners, so it's a bit more of a download chatty video. But if you'd like to come back for that, if you want to come back for the final installment in this series, my personal experience with critique partners, please let me know down in the comments. I will be putting videos out once a week. If you've gotten this far and you're not already, hit that subscribe button and let me know what one question you would really like to ask your critique partner. If I've missed any, if you've gone this far and you're not sure, leave me a sunny emoji because it's a sunny day here in Australia. So until next time, let's use our voices to promote positive change in the world. Thank you. Bye bye for now.